soul loss? Okay. Recapitulation is a great tool. I teach an 18-month apprenticeship program, and the apprentices must in 18 months recapitulate their entire life. Okay. Recapitulation is a way to get back energy that you've expended and to release energy that you've taken on in your lifetime. It's not going to work with those core soul issues. It's about the small exchanges. How many of you saw the little video that John and I did when I asked John about his childhood? Okay. I asked John if in his early childhood anyone had ever hollered at him. And he said they had, that there was a family of hollerers. And I said, and what did you feel when they directed that anger at you? And he said, shame. So that was what we call an energy exchange. He took on anger and he gave off the shame. So with recapitulation, we go back to those incidents and we clear them. And I'll teach you how to clear them. So there's a couple of different kinds of recapitulation. The one we're going to do today is called the fluid method. And that's where, as we recapitulate, we go back to whatever comes up, okay, and clear it. And what I would tell you about this is so great, is once you've gone through your lifetime, when things happen, you'll instantly clear it with a breath. If I'm driving down the highway, and let's say I'm not in my most spiritual self that day, and maybe someone cut me off, and maybe some expletive of anger escaped my lips. Not that could happen, but it might. I'm immediately going to do the sweeping breath to take back my anger and pull back any energy that I was sending there and clear it. And what happens with this is if you will do that, you will feel lighter, you'll feel more present in your life, and life will seem like a lot better trip, okay? So we have the fluid, then we have the inventory. The inventory is done one way, is that when we have sexual encounters throughout our life, we actually have an exchange of energy. We have taken on, particularly women as the receivers, and that could be other scenarios also, but as a receiver of an energy, you hold that energy. So one of the fun things that Don Miguel Ruiz had my friend Simran and I do was make a list of everyone we'd ever had sex with. So we're driving back from Santa Fe, and here's our conversation. Well, does oral sex count? Oh, that's a Bill Clinton, okay. So then we had to stand in front of a mirror with this list and go through this sweeping breath and release every person that we'd ever had sex with. Fortunately, our lists were comparable, and I'm not going to divulge that. So then we have an interesting class, and I'm probably going to teach this coming year, called Shamanic Gypsy Tarot. Have any of you ever heard of it? It's a lifetime tarot reading. And what happens with this is you begin to see kind of where you're at in your life. The major arcana are sort of the gods or goddesses that came in, your guides, and what karma you may have come in with. The middle arcana is where you play judge and victim to yourself. And the lower arcana is about your life journey. So if you're 40 years old, your lower arcana with 40 cards is going to be 10-year increments. If you're older, it's going to be fewer increments. But what you look at is there's a correct line of tarot in terms of the cups and etc. And when you do the lower arcana in particular, you're looking at what the cards that showed up in this decade, were they the ones that I would have expected in this line? Or are they different, and how does that tell me something about my life so far? It's really interesting. It's very mathematical. And if you don't like math, you're not going to like it. But I do plan on teaching that. So then, with the recapitulation, we're recapturing energy. And then there's a Native American recapitulation that my friend Brooke Madison Eagle gave me that's about changing energy or an attitude. Here's an example. And you're going to get a handout on this so you don't have to write everything down. You decide that you have an issue with money, okay? So 5 minutes before you go to bed, you let yourself drift back in time to when is the first time you remember having an issue with money. Okay, in my case, it was my parents borrowed money from me. And instead of giving me the whole lump sum back, they gave it to me $5 or $10 at a time. So it wasn't easy to get it all back. And I kind of resented that. It's like, money comes and goes and doesn't return. And then there are other incidences, but you do this for 100 consecutive nights. And each night you imagine that you have a ball and you're gathering energy on this ball. And you kind of store the ball in some place. And on the 100th night, you take that ball and you move it from your less dominant hand to your dominant hand and you hurl it away. And I will say that after you've done that for 100 consecutive nights, that attitude, that situation will begin to dissipate because you've brought up all the things that created that. So it's kind of a neat recapitulation. Okay, this is a little chart of what it's like when we have our first incarnation, if you believe in reincarnation. We start out with a spirit. We create an energetic buffer around that called our etheric body, and around that we have our physical body. This is a very pure egg person at the beginning of the incarnation cycle. Because there are no track marks around that of any untoward energy exchanges, we could say that they're unlimited. They don't have any limitations. Nothing's blocking their energy. So normally when we make our transition, step through the veil, the physical body is no longer needed. So we end up with spirit still encased by that etheric body for a little while. And then that disappears and we're back at our pure spirit again. The problem we know that all things are energy, so when we have an exchange, our brain records it, right? So every exchange that we have throughout our lifetime, that in which we have given off an energy and taken on an energy, leaves little track marks. Etc. So someone could have a few of those, or someone could have a lot of them. Most people have a lot. So then, when they die, what happens? The etheric body takes on these track marks. And they're all just emotional exchanges that were not cleared up in that lifetime. So then what happens is once the etheric body disappears, then we have a cycle of reincarnation. We're actually bringing in some of the unfinished things from the past life. This is why reincarnation is so great. Because if you clear it up in this lifetime and clean it up, you're clearing this so that your limitations begin to open up again. So I don't know too many people that I've ever met, I think in this incarnation, that aren't railroad tracked. Okay? I think you all can relate to that. You've all had exchanges with someone at some point in your life, relationships, teacher at school, neighbors, parents, grandparents, someone, and you took on some energy. So here's an opportunity to get rid of it. Anyone want to do that? So the first part of this is called the Hu-Yin breath. Is anyone familiar with that? It's a breath that we use in Reiki. Okay? We're going to practice it a minute. Do you all know where your perineum is? Perineum? Perineum. Okay, it's the area in women between the vagina and the anus, and men between the testes and the anus. It's a power spot in the body. Have you ever had to go to the bathroom and you can't get there and you're holding? Kind of hold on. Gotta go. Okay. You need to know where this area is because we're going to use it with the Hu-Yin breath. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit, we're going to focus on the tip of our nose. We're going to contract that area. We're going to take a breath in, and as we pull this breath in, we're going to then start pulling it up. It's going to go over the kidneys, to the shoulders, rest, move it up to the crown chakra, the third eye, and then begin to release it all the way back down to the perineum. And that's called the Hu-Yin breath. And it's a protective breath so that we feel protected while we're doing this. So I'm going to put this down and we're going to do it. Okay, so tip of the nose, contract, breathe, pull it up. Breathe down and connect. It takes some practice if you've never done it before, but eventually you would feel quite connected with that breath. So that's the first part of this. And the reason I have you lay down is because in the recapitulation, we actually lay down on the floor. If for some reason you're not comfortable with that, could someone raise their hand that can't lay down? Okay. I can have you sit and I'll walk you through that, Don. Okay. All right. So as we're laying down, we're going to construct a very strong cord. And that cord is going to connect to our dantian. Do you know where your dantian is? Everybody? No? Okay. It's below the navel, above the pubic bone. It's a little, almost a little indentation. It's very powerful. And if you put your hands there for a while, it begins to heat up. This is like a cord that connects us, the etheric to the physical. So we're going to build this beautiful cord, and we're going to bring it down when we're laying down and connect it to the navel. Or not the navel, the dantian. When I do this, or I do journeying, I use a crystal with chloride in it, which is very powerful. It's called the shaman's crystal. And I looked online, and you can find some on Etsy, you can find some on eBay. They don't have any at the Moon store on Cornwall, I call them. And I didn't get to call Awakening because they're closed today. But it's a very powerful stone, and if you have one, you want to place it on your dantian when you're doing this. Okay? Oops. Once you connect it to that, you want to feel almost as if it's pulling you a little bit, okay? And then it's hard to do. You let yourself go limp, just like you're a puppy.